Hi everyone, my beloved viewers out there. Welcome to another episode of your favorite tech show on Serenity TV. My name is Gloria, and today we'll be discussing on the topic which says the power of forgiveness, letting go and moving on. And here with me in the studio today,
Hi.
I'm Archie.
Okay, I'm Richie Gospel. The power of forgiveness. So, you know about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a conscious decision of letting go of either negative emotional, something, or even anger against someone. So now, a lot of people they find it so difficult to forgive one another, even when the Bible said, and they will know that Bible said, forgive one another. Even Jesus said it in the book of John 3:16 when he said, for God so loved the world. Because if God doesn't love the world, he won't even forgive us for our sin. So, but people find it so difficult to forgive. I don't really know if this forgiveness really exists, even when they say are forgiven, and you see it in them that they are not even let it go. So these are two things: we forgive, but they didn't let it go. So that is where we are getting it mixed up there. So we'll be discussing more on the forgiveness and letting go of your hurts. So here we will be discussing. So I don't know, but to me, I believe that when you forgive, you should let it go. You should let it off your memory. So that when you try to see the person, you won't remember such thing again. I don't know if it's possible.
Okay, so I believe, like you rightly said, the definition of the word forgiveness. I believe forgiveness is actually a conscious decision that you take by yourself. When someone hurts you, this thing called hurt is something that has to do with emotions. And it's not something that you just say, if someone hurts you and you ask to forgive, you just say, it's forgiveness is like a journey, it's a process, it takes time. Like in the process, it takes time for you to be able to like think of it and decide that okay, I actually want to forgive. And forgiving and letting go are two different things. You might just say I forgive this person, but have you really let go of the hurt that person has caused you? So I think in general view of forgiveness and letting go is the decision, is a personal decision that you take when you're by yourself, like okay, it's time, I think I have to let go of this thing for my own self improvement. Because when you let go, you release those negative emotions.
This forgiveness doesn't even work most times because whenever, unlike me now, if you give me a very hot slap and you want me to forgive you at that moment, man, whenever I remember the heat of that slap, the thing will keep boiling in me. I don't know. So me, I don't really believe that forgiveness will really work 100%. It might work in the eyes of God, but we human, me, more especially me, it's very hard for me.
So let's just discuss forgiveness in general view. So let's hear your thoughts on the topic of that.
Okay, my thoughts generally on forgiveness. I think forgiveness is the process of intentionally giving out your heart, bringing your heart down, or anger that you have towards someone that hurts you.
Yeah.
When someone hurts you, then you decide to intentionally forgive the person. You decide to just let it go. But sometimes when you talk about forgiveness, that doesn't mean you've forgotten what the person did. That doesn't mean you've forgotten what the person did. You basically remember everything the person did. But you are forgiving the person just to make your heart clear. Just to clear the heaviness in your heart. So once the heaviness in your heart is cleared, then not forgiving the person, it is just because you want to make it better.
So does it really mean that even when you forgive, you've already cleared it in your heart?
You clear it in your heart, but you don't forget.
The memory is still there.
Yeah, the memory will definitely be there because you don't have a brain issue. You always remember, you try to remember anytime you remember, but you just have it in mind that okay, I'm forgiving this person, no, I don't forget.
So what happens when you forgive and you don't have the trust again in that person? What happens? It doesn't mean that you forgive, you've not really forgiven that person.
You've forgiven the person, but you are trying to make cautions.
Okay.
Yes, you are trying to make cautions that okay, this is what the person did the first time. I'm not going to let it happen again.
I guess Mr. March is quiet. So you must have something to say about this.
Actually, I'm just listening to your
Yes.
forgiveness, as we said, is letting go of emotion. There is an internal emotion which you cannot see. And before you talk about forgiveness, you look at the big picture. What exactly transpired before the whole forgiving part? There are a lot of things, and those are the things that determine if really I'm going to forgive you. Take for instance the number of times the person have done the same thing. Talk about my view, my personality type. These are some of the things that determine truly I'm going to forgive the person. The level of the heart, or the level of betrayal involved. There are a lot of things that is encapsulated into that. So forgiveness is not something that is so simple, except if the heart is not there. So before you talk about forgiveness in the real sense, reflect about a heart that goes deeper than the mere surface. So it's something that has to do, like my sister said, it's something that is a process. Take for instance a lady or a girl that has been staying with a man for years, and over the time they struggle together, she have taken in and aborted so many times, her womb have gotten damaged in the process of abortion. And suddenly the guy gets married, and all he can tell the lady is just sorry, I'm sorry. What can I sorry do? You don't expect such a person to let go or forget. So to me, forgiveness is all. Before you talk about the forgetting aspect, you have to really know the forgiveness. How has it been handled? The issue has it really been handled?
So from what you are saying, I don't think that there are some certain things you do that you can't give out that forgiveness easily, and there are some certain things you do just forgive.
Oh, sure, of course. It depends on the level of the heart and what is involved. There are some things that you can easily just let go. And then again, it depends on your personality and your belief and view.
Okay.
There are some things you can just let go. They are too minimal. But there are some things that go deeper and goes into the blood, into the system, that will stay with you till life. You don't expect such a thing to just something like forgiveness.
So how about us now as a human to God? We expect God to forgive us no matter whatever we do. So why can't we give out that forgiveness to our fellow human?
Just like you said, human and God. We are not the same.
But Bible
We
said
are
that.
mortals.
But Bible said that we are of the same image.
And therefore we are not the same.
Okay.
We're talking about the supernatural being
Okay.
that has everything. We are talking about us mortals that are still in our flesh and blood. It's easier for us to say no. It doesn't have to happen that way. God is there giving us the example, offering us, instructing us. He also knows his noise. So to us, we not say because God is so forgiving. And we just sometimes we look up to him. If he can do that, then we'll try to see if we can imitate it.
Okay, let's bring it back to in our marriage and in our family now. You know, imagine you as a wife and your husband, maybe your wife do something like that. Doesn't it mean that, and you know that this is your wife that you are going to be forever till death? Doesn't it mean that there are some certain things she will do, you will not forgive her, you know? Like, so how do you think that she will be comfortable to stay with you? Or is it because she have already found out that there is no forgiveness there, and you are behaving somehow because of some reason? Do you think that it's that easy to cope? Seeing you not forgiving her.
Actually, forgiveness, when you are dealing with an unforgiving situation, or you're still in a place where you know that you are not the issue of not being trust, you will not be comfortable. But you know one thing I want to point out? Sometimes we say we forgive you, or sometimes we ask, we apologize. Without really getting into the matter. We're really digging deep into the matter. So, and believe me, when somebody offers apology sincerely, you will know. There are some apologies that are made begging. So when we are looking at that of the husband and wife, we're dealing with emotion, people emotion. The word has said in the behavior, in their disposition, they're talking about will tell you that person really asking for forgiveness.
Is it just throwing it, letting me that after all I apologize? So this will determine and will be a home where there's already an issue and the forgiveness have not really been given. Believe me, there's a crack. And if that crack is not handled, the marriage is not drifting from there.
So, wow, that's a wonderful one.
Okay, let me take from what Mommy has said. I think when it comes to that marriage aspect, the word forgiveness itself, like she made mention that you can't forgive someone if you haven't actually like gotten to the root of the issue, whatever caused the hurt. Because when you use the word forgiveness, it's not just this note like forgive me, but without knowing the damage, the extent of damage or the extent of hurt you've caused to the person, your partner or whoever it is that is related in that issue. You don't know the extent of damage. So when you use the word forgiveness, most people think it's just a mere word. Like when you say forgive, forgetting that when you hurt someone, it has to do with emotion. It goes deep down. We all are human beings, and our hearts, or let's say our brain, has a system of functioning to strong emotions. Maybe be it happiness, something that makes you very excited, or something that gets you very angry. The brain doesn't really release such emotions. It goes deep down. So when we talk about forgiveness, it's not just something that someone will just come and say, okay, I'm sorry for what I did. Please forgive me. Even sometimes when the person is being sincere, when you think about it, when you go back and think about the pain, the trauma, the emotional breakdown, that particular situation is opposed to you, you just feel like, is it even necessary to forgive? Why do I have to forgive this person? Is it going to pay for the emotional damage? Is it going to pay for the stress, like the sleepless night I went through and everything?
Okay, like so what you just said now, I still want to add up something again. How about people keeping boundaries? Is it that they have not forgiven the person? For instance, now there could be something you do maybe in the past, and at a point, because I wouldn't want that thing to be repeated again and again. I said, okay, let me set boundaries. I won't be talking to this person so that this person won't be hurting me all the time. Is it necessary to keep boundaries?
Yeah, I think when it comes to keeping boundaries, I think sometimes yes, it's necessary. Because let me just say, for instance, like she made mention, like someone might have hurt you again and again. And each time the person does that, like, forgive me now, this was a mistake, it won't happen again. And you're like, okay, no problem. But what if it's now becoming a constant thing? You have to, like, for your own emotional well-being. Do you understand? For your own emotional well-being, you don't just have to say, okay, because the Bible says you should forgive. You by yourself, you know deep down that this forgiveness, actually tell the person, okay, I'm forgiving you, I have let go. But deep down, if I should give this person another chance, I will actually get hurt again. So all you do is just set boundaries. Like there are things you not allow, set boundaries not so that person will be able to get to you.
So does it really mean that when you set boundaries, you already forgive the person, but just want that person to come close again?
Yes, I think it's happened in such situation. You forgive, but you just don't want it to repeat itself.
Okay.
Just don't want it to happen again. Just want to maintain it for your own emotional well-being, like I said. Not to go through that same process again and again. So you just have to maintain.
But there are some people that they can't even keep such, because I remember there are some friends or family members, they keep on looking for trouble all the time. Even when you set the boundary, they will do, for instance, when we are small, whenever we have issues with our age grade or age group, just draw a line, don't cross it. You see that there's somebody that will cross there looking for your trouble. And even when you cross again, the person will cross and say, do your worst.
Yes, actually, let me come in there. If you look at the word forgiveness, before we talk about unforgiveness, there's a breach of trust. A situation that warrants you not to forgive somebody that you have been close with over years, actually there's a breach of trust. Trust pattern and the entire habit, of which you can forgive the person, but then that which make you make you to be cautious around that person, and so you draw the gap. But there are some people that
it's not really easy for them to be so vocal into saying, I am sorry. Because sometimes people, let's say, use style. Somebody can use style and still breach that space because they really want your forgiveness. Not that you set the boundary and they really need to cross it so that the friendship and you had before will be maintained. That's one. So that's one reason why you are keeping boundaries. And again, personality matters. There are these people that are so extroverted that why do anything? Then they stay crossing. They don't even know that there's a line in this place. So they think everything is as it used to be. Don't know that you are so emotional, then that's so extroverted. So I don't know that there's a difference. So they take themselves and the way they will handle it is them and appoint.
Okay, now that you've known what forgiveness is all about, so how can we get this forgiveness? How do we get this forgiveness? Because now a lot of people are you see people that I offend you. So how do I get that forgiveness from you? Because I know there is a word called remorseful. Someone be remorseful. Do not just say sorry. Because most times when you offend somebody, just say sorry. Sorry is just casual. But most times when you put it in a remorseful way, like I'm sorry, the person now see that it's really coming from you. So I don't know how do we get this forgiveness?
I remember before, whenever you did something wrong that hurts you, when you're trying to apologize, you start crying. Start crying until you tell him, I'm forgiving you. When you don't say that, you continue to cry until you say, I'm forgiving you.
Okay, our viewers will come back again. Come back to our topic. We are still on how to gain forgiveness. So, most times we've already discussed on forgiveness, but we don't really know how to gain this forgiveness. Most people do not know how to say I'm sorry. Most people do not know how to show that remorseful act that what they really do is wrong. So, how do we get this forgiveness?
Basically, forgiveness can be derived through remorseful act. When you see the person trying to plead for forgiveness, feels very remorseful for her action, then you kind of try to look at it and try to plan. You might not forgive the person at that instant. At that instant of the person begging, you might let the person leave. Then you think about it. Am I to forgive this person? Is this person really worth forgiving or not? Then if you see the person is worth forgiving for the action the person did, for pleading, then you can go ahead to forgive the person. Because I think, to my own perspective, I think you not forgiving someone, it's like drinking the poison and expecting the person not to die.
So, say I'm sorry, is it enough to forgive someone?
Biblically, it is enough. But in the community now, I don't think it's enough. Depending on the personality.
Okay. But I don't really know because if you bring it to the world, like in a society today, okay, even in court, when they are judging it, instead of you to forgive and go like that, they will ask you to pay damage to see. And maybe that's enough reason for the person to forgive and let go. I don't know if it's still okay in a certain.
Actually, forgiveness goes a little deeper. It is something that has to come from the heart. Okay? So it is in two ways. Sometimes the person hurts you and telling you that he hurts you. And you come for a apology. Sometimes they don't. It's not built on you to decide if you want to let it go. So for somebody to want this person's apology, sometimes the incident needs to be discussed. Just that these are part of the world, we don't know the work of the cancers. There are some scars that I'm sorry cannot heal. And for forgiveness, true forgiveness, it hurts even the person giving it out.
So what can give those scars?
That's what I'm saying. Talking about it can heal.
That's open discussion.
Yes, sometimes you really need to talk because I might hurt you. Based on your past experiences, your life pattern, to me, it's it's a triple matter. To you, it's a repetition of events. It goes deeper than that. And I will wonder, why are you holding on to this much? Is it not just this thing? But by the time you open up, you understand the fact that sometimes we are actually reacting based on past experience. The scars we are carrying, which all of us are carrying. So sometimes the forgiveness you need, the one that truly matters, the one I can say is forgiveness, hurts.
I guess I agree with you because sometimes something might happen. Something might happen and you could think, you might think that it's just this. But by the time you start asking questions, you now find out that there are some other things that happen in the previous that brought up that just little thing.
It's not only that. Sometimes I might just have my reason for hurting you. I watched in the media the other time the woman that confessed to the son that she told the son's passport. At the time the son is about to live in this country. And she followed the son to be looking for the passport. Until the son wasn't able to go out. 20-something years later, the mother called for the apology. What was the reason? That she lost two of her brothers that traveled, they never come back up to her. So you now find out that yes, so the son, what the mother did is abominable. You know what the pains preparing to leave the country, and somehow your own mother, your blood, the person that told your passport, tore it and flushed it down. I was actually following to look up for it. But looking from the mother's point of view, after the initial pain, the son might also say, okay, maybe this is a reason. So sometimes we really need to talk about it. The mother coming to the son to say, I am sorry. I'm not really sorry. But now that she has aimed her own side of the story, I think that there should be a tentative step. So sometimes the forgiveness, there are some things we need to talk about. Then we offer the forgiveness. That is when it makes sense. And there is some forgiveness you ask for. And we may need restitution. We can need to believe in that. There are some things you might do. Yes, you said sorry, but you're still in a position to make it right. After the apology, it's better to go back and make it right. That is when the forgiveness will really happen.
Okay, so from what she said, yeah, she's actually right because sometimes the sorry doesn't just work like you say I'm sorry, it just does work and you expect forgiveness. I think this word that says action speaks louder. Your action should actually prove that you're truly sorry for what you did. You don't just come and say sorry, I'm sorry for what I did, and you expect the person to forgive you. Like knowing the reason you hurt the person, or you as the person going to forgive. Like she said, you guys should just sit and talk about it. Talk about the reason why this thing came, why it happened. And when you get to find out the reason, you should actually work on it. Like, okay, even if you say I am sorry, your actions, you follow up with actions, your actions will prove that you are truly sorry from deep down. You understand?
Sure.
So because you don't just expect to come and say sorry and expect person to be like, sorry, I just want to forget. But when you talk and what was it? Like follow it up and know this thing I did actually hurts this person. So what and what do I have to do to make it right? To make this person, she gave a lot of examples here. And there's a lot of things also that we humans, that we do as humans. And okay, there's this story of like something related to what she said now. A man living with his wife for the past 20 something years, only for him to realize a certain day that the children he has been raising were not his. And the wife goes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. So what do you expect the man to do? Like, should that sorry heal his wound? Having to realize that you have 4 kids and none of them are yours for more than 20 something years.
You are packing.
We are talking for you.
So in that case now,
What do you expect? Do you expect the man to just say, okay, I'm forgiving you? In that situation now, there's a lot of things invested. His time, his money, his emotions, everything has been invested into those kids.
Very confident.
Do you understand? And you're working on more money, telling me that these kids I have, and these kids are actually not mine. What do you expect me to do? Even if they call the whole community together, that thing is not going to end with sorry. It's not going to end with an apology. Because time has been wasted.
Yes.
Years has been wasted. So how do you go about it? Will saying some just end it all? Or like she said now, even if you come up with a reason, there's a solid reason behind you doing that particular act. The forgiveness is not going to come easy. What are the benefits? What do you think are the benefits? Things benefits when you forgive. What are the benefits?
Okay, talking about the benefits of forgiveness. You can see medically when you go to the hospital, maybe my doctor, when I go to my doctor, when I have something like maybe chest pain or something medically, then I go to the hospital to complain. When I'm sitting down, I see him talking to people, asking them, do you have someone in mind? Maybe they have chest pain or no free flow of blood and some other stuff like that in their immune system. Then you ask them, are you putting someone in mind? If you are putting someone in mind, don't bother to use this drug because it's not going to work. Why? Because you have someone in mind. If you don't forgive that person, that is the main reason why you are being affected. It's that, not that you need the drug to heal yourself. So I think the main benefit of forgiveness is just for you to make your personal self free, to make yourself free. Because if you are not free, it will be really affecting you. And the person hurting you will just have a free life and do whatever he or she wants, but you will be the one affected.
So, any other opinion? I think I will go with what the late Michael Jackson said: heal the world. I think forgiveness heals the world. It heals a lot of wounds. So I think both to the giver and the person that receives it. So I think with forgiveness, we can actually start internal healing. And with that internal healing, we can actually move a step forward. Sometimes most of our potential is still embedded into the hurts, into the scars, and we are still living in the past. So forgiveness gives you the edge to move ahead, to see the world in a different ways. And again, forgiveness that you offer to somebody, you never know whether the person you are holding grudges, the person is actually supposed to be your destiny helper. So I think in a lot of ways, it goes round, it's spiral round. It frees a lot of people, a lot of mind. It frees even the children because surprisingly, some children are inheriting past grudges. So it ties a lot of people down. So I think it goes with healing, freeing of mind, freeing of self, making the world a better place. That's what I said.
Well, like she said, I'm in support of what you just said now because it heals emotionally. In fact, I see it as open door. It opens everywhere because when you are maybe you've not forgiven your brother, and that will extend to your family and the other family too. So that family can never come together and they can never be together. So I believe that with that forgiveness, it's open door and gives you as in kind of emotional healing. It will heal you emotionally, so that you be free and live longer life. Because with grudges in your heart, I believe that your life is a bit shortened. So it gives you a longer life. So that's the benefit.
Okay, so from everything we've said now, the benefits of forgiveness is self healing. Like we have this self healing, we just have this feeling that okay, we've healed ourselves from those grudges, those things that are those burdens that are tying, those emotional bodies that are tying us down. We have liberated ourselves from it when we forgive. And it also helps the world be a better place. Because when we keep holding grudges from one place to another, a lot of things keeps accumulating. So I think generally we have actually completed all the benefits of forgiveness. So in general knowledge now, forgiveness, we've talked about forgiveness, talk about the benefits, and we'll talk about the healing process in forgiveness, how to end forgiveness. So generally, in conclusion, In conclusion, I will say forgiveness, like you all have heard it, forgiveness is a conscious decision of letting go of emotional burdens. Even when the person that hurts you doesn't actually apologize, it's for your own self healing. Letting go itself is to release yourself from the grip of those emotional burdens so that you'll be free to move forward. Thank you very much for watching. Kindly subscribe to our channel and like. You are free to comment, go to the comment section and comment. If you have any opinion, kindly comment on there and share your opinion. Thank you very much for watching and God bless you.